This is the PR Podcast, a show about how public relations helps you tell your story to the world. We talk with great PR practitioners who have the skills, creativity, and just plain savvy to get their clients noticed. Now here's your host, Jody Fisher.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the PR Podcast. I'm Jody Fisher. Thanks for joining us. Well, don't forget to tune in to PR Talk from the PR Garage. This is my attempt at Instagram Live. It's every Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, and it's just 15 minutes. I check in on what's going on in PR world, maybe share some thoughts about what I'm working on, want to hear from you about what you're working on. We play a little game called Why Is That News, where I grab a story out of my local newspaper or whatever and sort of break it down and give my impression on why I think it made the paper and what it took the PR person who might have been pitching it to get the reporter's attention. And we just like to have some fun. So tune into that Instagram Live on my personal Instagram channel. That's at Jody Fisher on Instagram every Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Check it out. And of course, tune in. Chime in and let's have a conversation there. Now let's get on with our show for today. We got a great guest. Emma Medeiros is president of Medeiros Fashion PR, the first public relations firm in the U.S. to specialize in the plus-size fashion industry. Emma moved to New York City in 2019 in order to fully embrace all the opportunities the fashion industry has to offer, and with a mixture of class and sass, has worked tirelessly to place plus-size fashion on an equal footing with straight-size fashion. Emma, welcome to the PR Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Tell me about the plus size fashion industry and why it was so overlooked that you started a business around it.
I still can't believe that when I started Medeiros Fashion PR, nobody was already doing it. I graduated from college in 2012 with my marketing degree. So underneath the marketing degree, you can do PR, you can do advertising, all of that. And I really was drawn to PR, and I also saw, besides myself being plus size, I saw the plus size industry just exploding at that time, and it still is 10 years later, more than that. So I knew eventually I wanted to have my own firm. And at first I was like, let me find someone to work for. I'll make my mistakes on their watch, that sort of thing. And then eventually I have my own firm. And I started looking, and I started looking, and I started looking. I seriously spent a good 2-3 months digging through every database, every website, everything I could find. I assumed I would have my pick of firms to work for that specialize in plus size, especially in Boston, New York, like these big cities. I'm like, really? I couldn't believe it. Not a single one. Now, granted, there were many fashion PR firms, usually called lifestyle PR firms, that may or may not have a couple plus size clients. Nobody specialized in it. And the benefit of that to our clients is that our clients know that every single one of our connections, whether it's in the media, designers, models, whatever, will somehow benefit their business. I'm not going to waste a single minute of my time or dime of their money reaching out to someone that will not potentially benefit their business. So that's the benefit of the specialization.
Very smart of you to
Yes.
niche down, because they talk about niching down being the secret sauce, if you will.
Yeah, and you know what? It's ironic that you say that niche. Everyone says, "Oh, the plus industry is a niche market." It's not.
There you
It
go,
makes
right?
up
Yeah, let's
women.
talk about it,
It's
right?
so funny when I hear that word. I'm like, but plus size women and men, generally, everyone's like, what's plus size? Generally speaking, everybody has different definition. Generally speaking, it means clothing size over 14. Generally speaking, 70% of people in this country, women and men, are plus size, and yet we are called the niche industry.
That's insane, right? There you go.
Okay.
There you go. It's the target market.
But
Okay.
I'm so grateful I launched it when I did. I mean, people come up to me literally like, thank you for giving us a voice. Like, I hear that, I'm like, oh my God, like you were voiceless. Like I'm giving I mean, that's empowering and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
It's so it was meant to be.
So tell us about how you get started. How do you, find the clients? How do you do the work? Given this sort of I'm struggling to find this word here. Like what you were just saying, right? That you're the
The
majority when in fact you're
misconception,
perceived as
yes.
the minority, right?
Yeah.
So how do you find the clients, communicate with them, and then how do you get that word out to media?
So, I mean, finding clients, it's a multi-pronged approach. I mean, it really comes about in different ways. I mean, I've been in business. I just had my ninth year brand anniversary. And next June, I will absolutely be blasting it out, have a huge party. Can't wait for that, for 10 years. And so it happens organically, of course. Word of mouth spreads, the industry for people working in the industry, like plus size designers, models, whatever, that can still be considered a niche industry, not the general public plus size, but the people working in it. So word spreads very quickly. Like everybody knows everybody. You go to these events, like, oh, I was here, like, and you recognize everyone or 90% of people or whatever. So you get to know people. So relationships are super important. I mean, public relations, right? Relationships. So that I get clients through word of mouth. I network constantly, like online as well as like in-person events, and reach out to people that I think would be a good fit for Medeiros Fashion PR, because not everyone is. I look for clients that are doing something different in the industry, because the thing is, this industry, the plus size fashion industry, is exploding. I mean, it's fantastic. The flip side of that, though, is that there's more competition. So just the fact that someone is, say, for example, a plus size designer, that alone 10 years ago was enough to set them apart and make them newsworthy. It's not anymore. So I take on clients that are doing something very unique. I kind of live by Coco Chanel's quote. What does she say? In order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different. So what are you bringing to the, you know, to the table that nobody else is? And not everybody has what we call a point of difference, really significant point of difference. So I always have a free consultation with them. Tell me your goals, tell me your brand story, your personality. I see if it's a good match, because I really want that client to be a long-term client. Not everybody is going to click. I want that long-term success with them. So like I said, getting back to how you get clients, mainly word of mouth at this point, because I've been in business for a while, the online networking, the news. I sign up for Google alerts for specific keywords. So plus size fashion, curvy fashion, whatever. I apologize if you can hear that train in the background that goes by a couple of times a day. Okay. And that way, not only do I know what's going on in the industry, right? Newsworthy stuff, I see like, oh, okay, oh, there's a new designer here. I'm going to message her and I'm going to send her a Facebook friend request and start that ball rolling. So that's been really helpful as well. So knowing the industry, like really understanding the industry. And of course, the process of getting clients is going to be different for every publicist. I mean, everybody has their own formula, so you have to find what works for you.
And especially talking about your relations with media,
Mhm.
reporters, outlets, we've got this perception that the plus size client, people who wear plus size clothing are the minority when in fact they're majority. How does the fashion industry portray plus size fashion? I mean, aren't they kind of guilty of portraying it as the minority, not the majority?
Yes, very
And how
much
do you
so.
navigate
It's
that?
usually, if you go to a regular fashion show, right? Not specifically plus size or whatever. Generally speaking, the models are going to be between sizes 2 and 4, maybe a six thrown in there. Sometimes crack up. Oh my God, I'll never forget. Chanel had a plus size model. It was all over the news. Oh my God, Chanel is like a, notoriously skinny brand. They're gonna have a plus size model in New York Fashion Week. This is a few years ago. And I'm like, yes. And then I saw it, I'm like, that's a plus size model. Are you kidding me? She was maybe a size 8. And what was hysterical, even more beautiful, don't get me wrong, beautiful woman, but no one called plus size. And they had her covered in head to toe. Like they didn't want to show an inch of her skin except for her face and hands. And everybody else was wearing like low cut, whatever. So I mean, it is gradually getting better, but it's still really, it feels like an afterthought. It feels like they're just throwing in one or two plus size models to satisfy the inclusivity movement or the diversity. It still feels like an afterthought. It is getting there slowly. It still feels like an afterthought. And what these brands and designers, a lot of them don't realize, is that the purpose of fashion has changed. And what I mean by that is that, okay, Winnie, sit down. She's one second on my camera. What I mean by that is fashion used to be all about perfection. It used to be about aspiration. You're sitting in the audience at a fashion show. You want to see perfection, whatever that means, right? No such thing as perfection, but whatever fashion industry says is perfection. And you want to aspire to that. You want to be that perfect model. That has changed. That has changed big time. And the thing is, brands, you need to know this. We don't want to see perfect. And I'm not just talking about me in the plus size industry. I'm talking about, you'd ask any person off the street. They want to see themselves. They want to see the girl next door. They want to see flaws. They want to see real, because it makes it easier for them to picture, how is that dress going to look on me? Right? Me as a size 18, 20 woman, it's very difficult to look at a size 2 woman, no matter how pretty the dress or the woman is. I'm like, how's that gonna translate? Like, gotta fit over my hips. Like, I'm a lot less likely. It all comes down to business and money, right? I'm a lot less likely to buy that dress, especially an expensive one, if I can't easily picture how it's going to work on my body. So that, I think, is kind of the pivot in what has caused the most change, is our desire of fashion. We don't want to see perfection anymore. And again, I'm not just talking about me in the industry, the average woman, average man. We want to see real. We want to see reality. Reality is beautiful. I think even Tyra Banks said this: perfection is boring, human is beautiful, or reality is beautiful, something like that. And just about Tyra, she's probably considered plus size now and everything like that, because she's got gorgeous hips and whatever. Shout out to Tyra. She has actually done quite a bit for the industry, but that's another story. But generally speaking,
so
that is true.
That's the interesting part to me. And so what outlets are you going for? Are outlets still treating you as treating plus size as a subset of fashion, or are there outlets that are focused on plus size?
We have a little visitor
kitty cat. Bring that kitty cat in here.
All right, Gwynnie, you want your 5 minutes of fame. Here you go. Everybody, this is Guinevere, and she knows she was named after a queen. All right, happy now. I knew that was going to happen. Sorry, but I'm sure I'm not the only person who has that problem on Zoom calls.
That's all good.
So media, getting back to the media. It is still a struggle, because there is industry-specific media, Queen Size Magazine, Plus Model Magazine, the Curvy Fashionista, lots of amazing, absolutely amazing plus-size media outlets out there. It's still very difficult to make that leap to what's called mainstream media. Vogue, Cosmo, Marie Claire, all of that. Again, they do feature once in a while, Blue Moon, plus size models and everything like that. It's still an afterthought. It still feels like an afterthought. I truly believe. And
I almost feel like they'd be rolling it out to like look inclusive. It's almost,
you would think. I get, for the record, I completely understand that it's very difficult to change a magazine that's been around for 30, 40 years. I get that. 100%. Vogue, Cosmo, hear me, please. I get that. The thing is, though, the world is changing. You have to change with it to keep up. I don't mean losing your brand identity. That's a big mistake. That's actually the other side of the extreme. I'm trying to say. The other extreme is that when brands try to be too inclusive, they try to meet every size, every color, every gender, every race, everything. You can't reach everyone. your brand starts to get muddy, like stand for, like, I get that. And it's the same with media outlets. So you still need to stay true to your identity. Absolutely, no question. I'm not asking Vogue to become some, queen size magazine. I'm not that, I'm not asking them to do that. What I am saying to them is that it's going to benefit them by recognizing that 70% of people who are reading your magazine are plus size. They want to see themselves. Your sales will skyrocket. Your sales and your readership and subscriptions, whatever. I think it's so many media outlets and designers and retailers where they're so afraid to take that leap. But you know what? I experienced something a few years ago that literally changed my life, and that I want to share with you because it's just going to benefit everyone, no matter what you do. I was at a panel of journalists and whatever when I was in Boston a while ago. And this one journalist was asked, like, how did you finally make the leap of faith to quit your job and be full-time freelance, whatever, something that she really did that took a lot of faith. She said, I asked myself, what is the worst thing that could happen if I fail? So when you're making a big decision, whether it's quitting a job, changing your media outlet, whatever you're doing, ask yourself, what is the worst possible thing? Let your brain go nuts. Let your brain go nuts. What is the worst possible thing that could happen if I do X, if I make this decision, if I change it to include more plus size, right? Okay, let's play the worst possible scenario. The worst possible scenario is that for whatever reason, your readers, like the straight size readers, like, oh, I don't really like that anymore. Like Vogue is too much on plus size or whatever, so that you lose some straight size readerships. That to me would probably be the worst possible. I mean, I really can't see Vogue going out of business for that, but say they lose some readers because there's too much plus size. Okay, now you need more of a balance, right? You went too far the other way. That's the worst possible thing that could happen. So you adjust, you balance. Is that really that bad? Right? And the thing is, more than likely, you're going to benefit by people who are seeing themselves finally, oh, I want to see what the new Vogue issue, it's got like this latest plus size designer, plus size model, whatever. I mean, there's no crystal ball. You can't see the future. I would be shocked to my core if Vogue lost business. I'm using Vogue as an example, of course, but the mainstream media outlets, I would be shocked to my core if they lost business because they included more plus size. I really would. And I'm saying that as a businesswoman. I'm not just saying that as a plus size woman.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not in the industry, but I would have to agree with you, right? If more
It's from
people
a
see
logic,
themselves,
point. I used to work
sure.
at Sephora. I worked at Sephora for 10 years, makeup, skincare, perfume, all that. It was a great job. And I remember thinking one time when I started getting into the plus size industry, what if we asked 70% of our clients not to come in the door at Sephora? Think about it. Think about it. What would happen? Sephora would go out of business. 70%. No, we don't want your money. Right?
Right, right.
I
It's a
mean,
great
why are
point.
they
It's a
not
great
thinking like
perspective.
that? I could talk about body positivity, equality, inclusivity until I'm blue in the face. At the end of the day, people are in business to make money, right? So if you talk to them on that level, I mean, there are reports that come out every year about the status of the plus size market globally, internationally, nationally, whatever. It is unreal how much money is out there. Even though the individual person usually doesn't have millions of dollars, the power of the plus size purse is, you know, astronomical. So, if you really want to boil it down to dollars and cents, you'd be very foolish not to include plus sizes, whether you're a designer, a media outlet, whatever.
So where is the future of plus size fashion media going, and the crossover between, as you put it, plus size and straight size? Is it shifting in the other direction where it should be, or is it going to stay where it is?
It is shifting. It is definitely shifting. And the thing is, any kind of long-term goal is going to take time. I get that. Every day I usually pitch a variety of both size, industry specific and mainstream media outlets, and people are waking up. It is happening. You know, when they see the bottom line, when they see the dollars, that's what's going to happen more. It's not going to happen overnight. There's not going to be one story that makes it happen. It's going to be a gradual thing. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with knowing that, because that means it's not going to change back as easily, right? If something like changes on a dime, it's much less likely to hang around. So I'm okay with it taking some time. I mean, I want to see it continue to move forward. Don't get me wrong. I'm okay with it taking some time. And as far as, you know, the crossover and everything like that, and the growth of the plus size industry, a lot of it, I really feel strongly about that, is thanks to the move for inclusivity in other areas. So race, gender, age, you know, all of that movement for equality in those segments, for lack of a better word, that is helping us enormously. Just the general move for inclusivity, whether it's size, race, gender, whatever, that is helping everybody.
Well, we will
As long
definitely
as
keep
that
an eye
keeps
on
going, we're
this.
good.
That exactly right. And we'll keep an eye on this, and we'll keep an eye on your firm as well. Emma, thanks so much for sharing these thoughts with us today.
Yeah.
We're not done with you yet, though. We are going to segue now into
But
the
wait,
rapid
there's more.
fire question portion of
Okay.
our podcast. This is where we steal a page from inside the actor studio. We ask our guests a series of rapid fire questions meant to elicit a simple answer, maybe a laugh or two. I can see that you're game. So, Emma Medeiros,
Bring
with
it
your
on.
indulgence, let's begin with rapid fire question number one. What is your favorite news source?
My favorite news source is Yahoo News. And the reason for that is because they get their news stories from a whole ton of different sources, even though, you know, right, left wing, everything. And I love that, because even though every media outlet has an agenda, absolutely, you're more likely to get all the facts if you have a collection.
Gotta love an aggregator. Absolutely. Rapid fire question number two. What's your favorite social media platform?
Still Facebook. You know, Facebook is still very, very widely used. It has the widest audience, especially age-wise. Instagram, TikTok or whatever is usually more younger. You can get a lot more ages, a lot bigger audience on Facebook still. Oh yeah.
Sounds good. Rapid fire question number three. Coffee or alcohol?
Definitely coffee. My husband jokes that no matter how broke he is, he can always take me out to dinner because I'm such a cheap date. I never drink. I drink like once a year, if that. And I have no problem, religion or moral objection. I just don't like the taste of it. So
Yeah,
I'm a cheap date.
I hear you. I hear you. I gave it up, I think 6 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
Rapid fire question number four. What's your favorite on the run food?
Oh Lord. On the run food. I guess slices of pizza. I'm kind of in mourning. I mean, as much as I love Maine, we moved here a few months ago. I am missing New York pizza. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, there's nowhere else
You know,
to
you
get New
can buy
York
it by
pizza
the
but in New
slice and
York, that's for
everything
sure.
like that. I am missing that.
Very good. And rapid fire question number five, Emma. What do you want to be after you finish this career?
I've thought of that. I mean, obviously, I hope this lasts for 20 more years or whatever. But if I ever do decide to switch and to try something different, I would actually try being a professional singer. I was a music major the first time around in college. The second time was marketing. I've always loved to sing. I'm trained as a classical singer. I've sung at Carnegie Hall. I've recorded many times. I've performed many times, and it's something that really brings me a lot of joy. And I don't mean like pop singer or Taylor Swift or whatever. I mean probably either a professional chorus, maybe recording voiceovers, getting paid for that. Who knows? But I really do love to sing. Yeah, I've already looked
Wow, that
into
is
three different courses actually here in Maine. So we'll see. Yeah, I love it.
very cool. Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, sooner rather than later, then you're going to have to send us a PR podcast plug when you join one of those groups.
Do that. Yes.
All right, good. Well, Emma, this has been a great conversation. Thanks for joining. Please let people know how they can find you online.
Absolutely. So my website is MedeirosFashionPR.net. Medeiros is MEDEIROS fashion. Hopefully I don't have to spell that. PR.net. And also, I really want, and all of my social media is there as well. So you can get the link to Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and all of that through the website. I really encourage whoever is watching this, if you are a plus size or size inclusive, we represent brands that have extra small to 3X, whatever, size inclusive. If you are a brand that has that, plus size model, retailer, blogger, anything like that, reach out to me. Free consultation, no strings attached.
Sounds good, Emma. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the show. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at the PR Podcast, and send us a question or a comment. Our intro is by Christopher Apple. You can find him and his fantastic photography on Instagram at Christopher_APPOLDT. Check him out there and hire him for all your photography needs. You can find me online at Jody Fisher on all the socials and on the web at jodyfisherpr.com. We'll see you next time on the PR Podcast.